Happy Tuesday. So I just have one quick
Wednesday.
question. Is Wednesday? Oh,
Yes, you living well, Erica.
listen. Okay. Happy Wednesday, everybody. So before we get started, so what year, I just like all of you to say, what year did you participate in Junior Achievement? If you did, what year did you participate? Can you just write it in the box? Nobody?
Everybody's
Okay.
a little shy.
I guess
We
they're
have
all
a
a little
message.
shy. They're all a little shy, but that's not that. Don't even worry. Okay, from 2000, okay, to present. Okay, so you're one of those students that's interested. That's fine. If so, I guess we do have some students on here that's looking to, get some information as far as going off to school. Okay, no problem. But tonight, I'm going to give you a little bit of information that from JA and being a part of JA and the type of scholarships that we offer and what type of activities we offer as far as, the collegiate part of it is concerned. But the most part of this, and this is something that I think that we don't get enough of, is understanding what you have to do once you get there. Okay. And my colleague, Ms. Christian Isley, I met her when she was a recruiter at Georgia State University, and now she is at Emory, and she's going to give you all of her, her expertise and what you need to do as far as when you're in school, what you need to do as a student. How do you keep up your grades? Your mental state, all of that, because trust me, it is all of that. It encompasses all of that in order for you to have a successful, college 4 years or however long you're going to be there. We're hoping it's 4. I understand 5, but hey, we got it, okay? And especially if you guys are being, if you're a part, I'm sorry, you're not Americans and you're international students. And if you want to graduate on time, you definitely want to do that in 4 years, okay? Well, my name is Erica Morris. I'm with Legacy College Readiness and Tours. I assist students with finding the best fit tertiary education for them. And I realized too that one of the things that about our students is that we tend to want to go to colleges that we're familiar with, okay? And just because you're familiar with those schools doesn't necessarily mean that that is going to be the school for you, okay? You might say, oh, I want to go there because, I want to go to Georgia State. I'm just going to use that as an example because my cousin went there and she had a wonderful time, but that was her experience. That's not necessarily yours, okay? So I'm just, if you are part of JA or you're looking to go off to school, I assist with the college selection process. Like I said, finding the best fit for you. And finding the best fit for the student is looking at location. Some kids may say, listen, I just want to get as far away from the Caribbean as possible. I don't want to be in the Caribbean. As a matter of fact, I don't even want to be in the United States. I have several options. I don't work with schools in Canada, and the only reason why, it's not that they're not good, it's just that Canada doesn't give international scholarships, really give international scholarships. And if they do, it's very competitive and it's not that much, okay? I work, and a lot of my students need to know what they're getting before they actually make that leap, okay? So that's one. But I have a school in France, and I have a school in Grenada. You may not want to be, you may not want to be a part of an institution, that snows. All of this helps in finding what's the best selection for you, okay? So there is a fee for that. I assist you from selecting the colleges, making sure you're meeting your dates, making sure sometimes I have students who are like, I don't know what it is that I want to do. I know that I want to go off to school. I help you with a career assessment. Okay. We look, and that'll help you to decide what you want to do in your career. Okay. Or which career path you really want to go. And sometimes I had a student once who wanted to do, I forgot what type of therapy it was. And she was hell bent on going to a four-year institution. And I'm like, you don't need to go to a four-year institution for that. Oh, I don't want to go to a community college. And I'm like, why? Because she couldn't give me a real answer. But community colleges are state colleges. The only difference between a community college in a Georgia state, a Florida state, a FIU, a FAU, a University of Florida is the price and the fact that they may or may not have any dorms, okay? So I will help you through that college selection process, finding out what school. If you are not junior achievement, the cost is $250. I assist you from selecting the colleges up until the time it's time for you to get your visa. If you are a junior achiever, we do 20% off of that $250, okay? And I help you throughout the whole process. Also, if you are with junior achievement, there are special concessions that we give some junior achievement students. If you decide to go to, let's say, MTSU, we will give a junior achiever an additional $10,000. Lipscomb University gives 2 junior achievers for their summer program. All you have to do is pay to get there. St. George's, it's a medical school. They give 100% tuition. I also have another school called Weber International University. And I'm working with them to get rid of the SAT requirement. However, if not, they're giving 2 students, because your GPA has to be above a 3.5. Okay, and let's hope they're getting rid of the SAT requirements. If they get rid of that, your GPA, I think, is like a 3.6, okay? They will give you $20,000. That's what you would automatically get. But because you're from junior achievement, they will give you an additional $10,000. And all you have to pay is $10,000 for the year, and that's room and board. And then if you get a government grant of $7,500, you're basically going to school for free, okay? So that's some of the special concessions that we give junior achievers. Also, we're planning 3 trips for spring break. For those that are visual arts students, like if you want to be in architecture, computers, fashion design, any of that stuff. SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design, we're doing a tour, especially for our art students. You'll get an opportunity to visit SCAD in Atlanta and SCAD in Savannah. For our medical students, and not just our medical and veterinarian students, we're doing a trip to Grenada. And these trips are between the 18th and the 16th. So we'll be doing trips to those institutions in April. The other trip is in France. So if you're a hospitality major, we have really great programs. If you're a business major, it's a business school, American business school in France. Okay, so if you're interested in that, and we'll be posting those on our website, Miss Selena will make sure that you guys get this information, because we're just trying to finalize some last little details, but definitely by the end of the month, those should be posted and you're welcome to come, okay? So without further ado, okay, we're gonna have my good friend, Miss Selena Isley. She's going to talk to you about when you get to college, what you need to do to stay there. Selena, are you ready? Not Selena, Christian.
Yeah, but before Kristen comes in.
Christian Isley. I am so sorry.
That's
Christian
okay.
Isley.
I'm sure.
Okay.
Before we bring you in, Kristen, I just wanted to give everyone just a few housekeeping notes. We are going to ask that you remain muted during the presentation. Some of you may have come in and seen that this was being recorded. That's okay, because then we send it to you so that you can replay it in case you've missed any information. We also house it on our alumni Facebook page, our Instagram, and we also house it on the JA Bahamas YouTube in case you want to find a link to send to someone. But those emails will be sent by early next week, so you will have a recording. We do ask that you remain muted during the session. There will be question and answer periods, but that is at the end of the session. So you can either ask questions within the chat box, or if you want to raise your virtual hand, please feel free. Remember, if your camera is on, we can see you. So just be aware of that, especially as it is being recorded. And just for some of our alum that may have come in, our newly minted alum, just fresh off to college, if you would like to volunteer with JA Bahamas, there are opportunities available even virtually. I'll be putting links in the chat for that. If we have any parents on that your kids have gone through JA, you've seen the benefit of it. JA is a nonprofit youth organization. So I will also be putting donation links in the chat, as well as very exciting news from JA Bahamas. Program registration has started, and that is from 7th to 12th grade. And so again, all of that information will be put into the chat. So I know you guys are very anxious to figure out how it is that you can make the best of your college careers. And we are extremely blessed to have someone of Kristen Isley's caliber who has come in just to speak to us tonight. Thousands of students, Miss Isley, I know she is newly married, congratulations, and she'll tell us her last name. Thousands of students have been helped by her expertise in adjusting to college life, because it's not just like Miss Morris was saying, it's not just about the studying, it's about budgeting, it's about being an adult now. I know when I was going into college, I fought to be an adult, then I got here, so good luck to you guys. So Kristen, come on in and tell us some more. Thank you.
Absolutely. Awesome. Awesome. So can everyone see my slideshow? Just want to make sure. That's good. All righty. So hello and welcome you all. If y'all have any opportunities for me to travel to Bahamas, please let me know, because I miss the beautiful waters. I always enjoy it. I always start off and just let everyone know that Bahamas is my second family. They have always been very warm and welcoming as soon as I met everyone. So I truly appreciate just having this opportunity, and Erica, for you inviting me to come and speak with you all tonight. So thank you, thank you, thank you. But
well,
just
I'll be sending you a schedule until February of all of the places, as several islands we'll be going to. I will definitely be sure to invite you.
Please, thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Well, first and foremost, I do want to just introduce myself. My name is Kristen. I am a higher educational professional, and I have been in this field for about over 7 years now. I do have a little bit of all types of sectors under my belt, including working from one of the largest public research institutions, working for smaller institutions, a community college, and now I'm currently working for one of the largest private institutions here in the state of Georgia. So I've been kind of all over the world, worked with international students, worked with domestic students, and really understand the caliber of what it takes for one to get a student into the university, but also to continue to help them succeed throughout the college. So tonight's presentation, we're going to just go over some preparing for college, how to be successful in college, and just different expectations regarding whenever you get into college. Because everyone knows, as soon as you graduate college, yes, you are ready and all excited and thrilled to go to college, but then you get there and you're like, oh my gosh, now I am a responsible adult. So my parents aren't here to wake me up every morning. My parents aren't here to provide a meal for me every day. I have to make sure I'm staying in shape. I have to make sure I am staying on top of my grades, my classes, and etc. And if I do fall behind, how can I I continue to improve and get back on top of things? So those are some very important things that, I wish I would have known whenever I got into college. So you all are very fortunate to have a party such as Legacy, such as Junior Achievements, to really help you get this information ahead of time before it's too late. So, I want you all to be engaged, to ask questions to me. I've been in your shoes at one point in time. Everyone on this call has been in your shoes at one point in time. So we are here for you. So hopefully at the end of the day, you can leave away with some just important tips of how to be successful in college. And again, you always have me. I'm a connection. I am happy to speak to you in any type of way, even if you're not at Emory, even if you're at Georgia State, it doesn't matter. We all have one type of goal, and that is to make sure our students are successful. All right, so just to begin, I do want to just go over the different types of colleges, because I'm sure there are multiple students who are all over. So you may be at a trade school, you may be at a community college, you may be at a university. So I want to make sure that you understand the differences of the type of schools that you are currently attending. So the vocational and trade schools, those are typically your post-secondary educational institutions. So those are more the skill development things, such as, computer science or information tech, cosmetology, barbering, masseuse, becoming a therapist, or even automotive. That's not all of the different trade schools that you may be able to attend, but those are just some of the most popular. Then you also have community college, which typically offers your 2 or 3 year programs. And so at the end of the day, once you complete your degree, you will receive an associate's degree. A majority of those students do go on to continue to get their bachelor's degree at a 4-year university. So a 4-year university, this is a college that typically offers a 4-year degree programs. Whenever you do finish and graduate, you will receive a bachelor's degree of either arts or a bachelor degrees of science. They also will include different degree programs, graduate degree programs such as master's or doctoral degree programs. And then of course you do have a variety of different public and private schools. So here, just within the United States, there are over 5,000 different universities between research institutions, liberal arts institutions, HBCUs. So there's so many different types of universities all throughout the United States, but also there's several different universities outside of the country as well. So I know Canada is very popular, Europe's very popular, and several other different countries have several different opportunities for you. So the difference between the public and versus the private schools is public colleges are usually funded by local and state governments, and they usually offer lower tuition rates than private schools, especially for students who resides within that state or where a college is located. And then for private colleges, they're normally mainly based upon like tuition fees and private sectors. So they have lots of endowments or different alums that will donate for them to be able to generate their money. So moving on, so succeeding as a college student. So today Ms. Erica has asked me to talk a little bit about these 4 points regarding time management, important study habits, retaining information for lectures, and maximizing your student budget. So I feel time management skills as one of the most important skills that students who are currently going to college or looking to go into college should become very familiar with. So I kind of broke this down a little bit as far as some four important time management skills that you all can develop to help you succeed throughout your college. So first, we are going to discuss prioritizing and organizing. So what does that mean? What does that look like? So prioritizing is more so of figuring out what it is that you need to do, what type of task and goals is it that you have to complete and for that day, for that month, for that year, for that semester, or even for a year. So you may have short-term, midterms, and even long-term goals. So you want to be able to really find an organized way to make sure you're completing all those goals, but being very productive and efficient. So yes, you may be really well at completing projects really quick, but how efficient are you? What's the quality of those type of projects that you're getting done? So we want to make sure that you find a way that works best for you to be able to be successful and to complete those tasks and those goals that it is that you may have to complete. So that may be your projects, that may be research papers, that may be group assignments, that may be end of the grade semester exams, that may be end of the grade semester research projects that may be like 15 to 20 pages long. So one way that I know that is a great way to do so is, for example, let's say you have been assigned a research paper that's going to be 20 pages long, but you have the entire semester to complete it. So as you are going through those chapters within your class, you can easily break that paper down into a shorter term goal. So for example, for the first third of the semester, you get 2 to 3 pages done. For the next term of that, for half of the semester, you get the next 4 to 5 pages done. And by the time your project is due, you have already finished a paper, and all you have to do is just go in there and add your insight citations, and there you go. So there are some great ways to be able to prioritize and organize your goals, your assignments, and the things that you need to get done throughout the semester. Because one thing I noticed, procrastination is real. So if you procrastinate, you are going to see and learn very quickly that due dates appear a lot closer than they are actually due. So it's very important to stay on top of those assignments, and to help reduce those stress levels. So you're not having to stay up all night to study or complete a project within 24 hours. So it's a great way to prioritize and organize your different assignments and your goals that you need to, that you have due for that semester or for that year. And then it also just improves your productivity, and it also establishes very good study habits as well. All right, so goal setting. So this provides a direction and makes progress for the achievement recognized. So this will be able, if you are able to goal set and you're able to find ways to establish, to be successful with those goals, like you can sit down, figure out your entire goal plan for the entire semester. So let's say you have 4 to 5 classes that you are enrolled in. So how are you going to be successful, stay on top of everything that it is that you need to, and how are you going to complete every single assignment and get everything turned in by its due date? So that is where goal setting comes in. So you want to hold yourself accountable for any action, for any activities that it is that you have to complete. So again, like your parents aren't there, your friends can't do your work for you, your parents can't do your work for you. Like this is all up to you, and you are the one that is completing that degree. So if you're able to just sit some time aside, even in the beginning of the semester before the courses begin, you can really understand, like, look at all your courses, figure out like the different assignments that it is that you have to do, and break those down individually based upon like what works best for you. The first couple of weeks of school, that's where it's a little bit more lenient, because everyone knows that you're still getting your papers, or your books together. You're still trying to figure out where your courses are. You're still going in between add and drop period as well. So if you're able just to set that time aside, you just organize a little bit more, and then figure out how can I be successful this semester based upon the courses that it is that I need to, that I am taking or I'm enrolled with. So, and this teaches you great time management and prepares you. So like you understand and you know what's going on. So there's no surprises. And it also encourages creativity. So, and that just means that you're able to get creative with like the short period of time that you have. Or if if you're not involved in any clubs or organizations or anything of that matter after school, then this also gives you a way to figure out what can you do with the remaining of the time that you have left after you have completed your courses. Problem solving. So this involves identifying problems and producing feasible solutions. So how many of you have been to college? You have been in a situation that you have never ever been in your entire life in high school, and now you're stuck trying to figure out a solution. I know you all been there. I still go through it till this day in the work setting. So I I'm sure everyone has experienced this. But being able to problem solve, that helps you become dependable. It is viable to your solving problems, and you also are able to weigh out the pros and the cons. So how can you be open-minded and acceptable to the different solutions or different trials or tribulations that you may come across? So one thing is, like, how do you overcome? Like, if something doesn't go the way that you expected it or you wanted it to do, like, how do you answer? So be versatile, and that's going to really take you a long way within life. That is a great life skill just to have in general. And one thing I do want to mention as well is just, take your personality test as well. So those are like your Myers-Briggs, that's your 16 personality test. That's the Big Five, that's your Enneagram, so that you understand yourself a little bit more. Because I would say that, in high school, you are one person, but also when you get in college, that is where you find yourself. That's where you're growing. That's when you're learning more about yourself, or you are taking advantage of all the opportunities that you have at college, that you may not have had time to do so in high school. So, taking those personality tests will also help you understand who you are as a person, so that you can find your strengths, find your weaknesses, and really utilize those strengths in the real world, but also work on those weaknesses so they can become one of your strengths as well. And lastly, we have strategic thinking. So this motivates and create any innovative ideas and imagination. If you are admitted, you are not obligated to attend as well. So, or you're helping to solve complex problems and just overcoming obstacles and how to address challenges. So one thing that professors are going to do within the classroom is challenge you. You may be talking about different subjects or have different opinions from all of your classmates, because you are now in a melting pot of individuals from all over the world. So if you're able to very strategically think and even strategically plan, it's only going to help you be more successful in that real world. So moving on to important study habits. So we're going to talk a little bit about like how to make a schedule, how to create your environment, and how to study in bursts as well. So these are three main things that will help you improve your study habits and also help you to develop a study pattern if you have not done so already. So starting off with making a schedule. So one thing what you can do is just sit down every single day and just create a to-do list. So prioritize everything that it is that you have to complete within that day or within that week, and just put it in, logical order. So like, what's the assignment that's due first? What's the project that's going to take you the longest, and how are you going to break out the time? Because you only have 24 hours within a day, and most of the time on average you get about 6 to 7 hours of sleep. So you have to figure out how are you going to utilize your time that you have within those 24 hours to be as successful as you can. Balance your activities. So one thing is sometimes, you go into college and you want to get involved in so many different activities and clubs, and you don't want to play a sport or get involved in band and choir and etc. But you want to be realistic. Don't put too much on your plate. Yes, it's great to explore. Yes, it's great to get involved, but you want to make sure that you are also making time for the most important thing, and that is keeping up with your grades. Yes, you can play, you can play hard, but you want to make sure you're working harder, okay? So that is the very most important thing, is to make sure you're being realistic with your goals and you're planning for real life. Give yourself timelines. So for example, if you do have assignments, you have different things that it is that you need to get, you have to complete, or like if you're a college athlete, you're probably going to be in practice for about 2 to 3 hours on multiple times a day. So how are you utilizing that time when you're not on the practice field and putting that extra time within your work? But also making sure you are getting all your necessities, such as, your food, you got your toiletries, you got everything else that it is that you need to survive in college as well. So give yourself a timeline and give yourself, develop a routine. So like if you sat down, like, okay, well, I'm going to study for 30 minutes and then I will go wash clothes, or I'm going to study for an hour and then I will go to practice and come back. So just little small things like that is just finding that routine that works best for you, whether it's, you study with groups, you study by yourself, you have study hall, you go talk to professors and etc. So there's so many things that you can do to make that schedule and find that routine to work best for you. And then I just found this really fun fact that I found very interesting is that research has shown that an engaged learning environment does increase students' attention and focus, and it promotes meaningful learning experience, encourages higher levels of student performance, and it motivates students to practice higher level critical thinking skills. So if you are learning in a engaged learning environment, such as a face-to-face formatting or with your group setting, you're more than likely to retain that information. And you're more than likely to be successful in the classroom. Not saying that is everybody, but that is what research has proven and shown. Moving on to create your environment. So what you have to ask yourself, like, what settings do you study best in? Like, are you an individual that likes studying in the library in a very quiet place? Or are you an individual who likes studying in your room? Are you an individual who likes studying in the classroom because that's where you feel like you've retained the information, that's where the class was taught? So what is it that motivates you? What is it that that influences you to help you understand and retain that content that it is that you're learning throughout the classroom setting? Remove any distractions. So that is that loud music, that's TV, that's any loud friends that that you may be around. So remove those distractions so that it is that you can put your vision tunnel and you can focus on what it is that you're wanting to achieve by studying or doing those projects and assignments that it is that you do have you have to complete. Schedule a set study time. So for example, let's say, are you a person who likes to study in the morning? Are you a person that likes studying late at night? Are you a person that likes studying during your lunch break? So find out what type of set study time works best for you, because everybody is different. Everybody has a different learning style, but once you're able to develop that learning style, you can really maneuver your environment to help shape that environment for you and create that environment. Make it comfortable. So I don't know if any of you are similar to I am, but I like to study and I like to be in clean areas whenever I'm studying or I'm doing projects or anything of that matter. It just helps, it just takes away the distraction, but it also just gives you a breather and like a life of fresh breath of fresh air, being in that clean and comfortable environment. So make sure it's not too hot, make sure it's not too cool temperature wise, make sure it's not a cluttered area so that you are able just to freely think and really focus your time on those different projects and those projects and assignments that it is that you have to complete. And then also another thing is that you can take advantage of is just study right after your class ends. So the likelihood of retaining more information is typically when you study right after your class has ended. So that just means that you are just reiterating the information that your professor has taught, or you've seen virtually or through lecture or through any online learning platform. But being able to study right after classes will help you just continue to retain that information. So I know a lot of you probably like music. So as you, for example, if you're constantly hearing that music, you eventually start learning those lyrics and it becomes like a natural habit. So if you put that practice into action, that same practice that it is that you like learning music within your studies, you are going to pass with flying colors and you will learn that material. And you're not just learning the material just to pass, but you're learning that material to know it. So that is a very important key, is to study and learn materials to know it. Because then that way, that information is going to come naturally. And so as you develop your career and apply to those graduate schools and et cetera, you have already retained that information and it's going to be easier for you to transition into those higher grade levels. And study in bursts. So set a designated place to study in. So whether it, again, if you like studying outside, if you like studying, in like a nature area, if you like studying inside in your bedroom, your classroom, the library, there's so many different options that it is that you can study in. So you just have to figure out what type of place makes you helps you study best and gives you more, give that environment that it is that you're looking for. And find study groups. So these are people, your peers, your classmates, your professors, anyone who is a part of that class or that career or that that course that it is that you're taking. As you study with more people, you can make flash drives, you can test one another, you can learn that material together. Some people may be able to break it down a little bit better so that you can understand it. So it's a great way to have fun, but also to still learn that material. Get your friends and your family involved. So get your friends to ask you random questions about your course, the material that you may find on different exams and tests and etc. Get your family involved. So when you're calling in to check on your family and they're calling in to check on you, let them know what it is that you're learning, and have them quiz you as well. So that's a great way to show that your parents that you are actually going to school and you're learning that content and they're not wasting their money, but also a great way to continue to reiterate the information and content that you're learning. And then also just identify how you learn best. So that is whether it is visual, if it's auditorial, so meaning like you can hear things and retrieve that information, if it's reading and writing, so taking notes, if it's logical, or if it's kinesthetic, so meaning that is it a physical activity, so like you have to be hands-on and etc. So there's a different test that you can actually take. It's called I think it's the learning quiz. I have a link that I can send to you all as well, just so you can figure out like how you learn best. So for example, if you are in a lecture class and you know that you learn best, like just with visual. So typically if you're a lectural class, like it's going to be like PowerPoint and it's going to be a lot of talking. So how can you figure out how that teaching style, how can you maneuver that to break it down for, to make it become visual? So that could be easily taking pictures of something, writing it down and writing it down multiple times or anything of that matter. So you have to get creative based upon like how you learn best. This is one thing that I do wish whenever I was a undergraduate student that I knew how I learned. I didn't understand this until about my junior, senior year of college. But if you can figure out and develop that at an earlier age, it's only going to make your college career much easier. And indulge in self-care. Your mental health is important. If you have not seen how important and how effective mental health is from these past couple of years because of the COVID and pandemic, this is the time to make sure that you are invested in your mental health. And the reason why I say that is because if your mental health if it's not healthy, there's going to be so many different things that are going to be against you, so many odds against your favor. So you want to make sure that you are taking the time, you're reflecting, you are aware of how you're feeling, you're aware of your emotions, so that you can be sure that you have all the attention, you have all the energy as you are going through your classes, because that is going to really affect you if you do not have a healthy mental health, if you are still going to college and etc. So you want to make sure you're establishing some type of self-care routine, whether it's you go get your nails and your toes done with your girls, whether it's you go get a haircut, or whether it's you going to work out, or if you like going to the cafeteria, rewarding yourself with a sweet or something of that matter. But just make sure that you are just staying healthy. Have a journal. I know, you may not be a writer or a journal person, but this is a great way just to write down and jot down your feelings and your emotions throughout your college experience or throughout just different things that may happen. Because I will tell you, there are going to be so many things that happen to you, or, just so many things that may happen outside of college, whether it's with your family, whether it's with a breakup or a relationship, whether it's with, just anything that, with sports, especially athletes, because 90% of the game is mental. So, you just make sure you have some type of healthy coping mechanisms to improve that mental health if you do find yourself falling down a little bit. And then you can always take advantage of the counselor, talk to somebody, talk to a trusted individual. Most colleges have an open door policy, so you can always go talk to some of your trusted professors, friends, members, or anything of that matter to help to ensure and help you find this healthy mechanism, the healthy coping mechanisms. All right, so moving forward into higher education teaching formats. So typically you're going to see about 3 different teaching formats within college that professors use. So that can be face-to-face, so which is typically taught in person. So it will be in a classroom setting. So that is going to be lectures or labs. So lots of hands-on activities, lots of hard copy documents, physical paper copies. You'll have like tests and exams, in-person discussions, group projects and meetings, and you'll also have to like turn in documents like hand copies. So you'll have to take an exam in the classroom and hand it into your professor as you conclude that exam. Hybrid. So this is a mixture between face-to-face and in online. Sorry about that typo. So a certain percent of your classes will be taught in person, a certain percent will be taught online. So you will have online assignments. You may have a discussion post that you have to respond to in order to get participation credits. It may consist of a heavier workload or feel like it's more paperwork because like there is a certain amount of face-to-face contact hours that you have to have with your professor. You may have online discussion for your participation grades. Real-time exchanges, meaning that you have specific meeting times that you have to log on to that classroom setting, and you may have even time quizzes. So be aware of your different teaching formats as you're selecting those classes, because everything is different and it may have different formatting of teaching and turning in your assignment, different styles of that. Online. So online is typically that 100% taught online. So everything that you're going to be receiving from that course or that professor is going to be online. So that's like expecting your live lessons. You know, it may experience a little heavier workload. You have to submit all your homework and your assignments online using an online virtual platform. There may be deadlines that you have to meet. There's live lectures with professors and discussion posts. And then it's going to be real-time class exchanges or pre-recorded lessons. So how do I pay for college? So this is just a nice little quote that I always enjoy and like to put out there. So education costs money, but then so does ignorance. So I thought this was a really nice, just a quote just to understand like how do you maximize your student budget as you're in college. So just note the initial sticker price of an education may not be the actual cost of attendance. So meaning like whenever you first start at your school, you may have seen a sticker price that says this is how much it costs to go to this university, but that doesn't factor in your personal needs, food, activities that you want to do, different events, different if you're an athlete, your equipment and etc. So that doesn't necessarily exactly say, oh, this is how much money it is that I need in order to make sure I have enough coverage to pay for my schooling. So if you're overqualified in some manners or you have demonstrated financial need, the university usually offers different scholarship incentives to attend. So though you have already enrolled at that university, there is an opportunity for you to always go to their financial aid department to see what other additional scholarships that they have for returning students. So and the reason why I say that is because sometimes, as students, as college students, we forget that, there's more things out there regarding just financial aid. There's more scholarships, there's more opportunities out there, but we may not necessarily exactly know how to get to it. So a great department to get to know and to ask regarding this is the financial aid department. They have all information of different scholarships, financial aid, like how to get more financial aid, how to get more scholarship. They will even send out different scholarship opportunities that they may hear of. Professors also may have scholarships or different projects that they would ask you to work on so that you can receive some type of incentive for it. So there's so many different opportunities. It's just, you have to ask, you have to put yourself out there, because if you don't ask, you're not going to open up those opportunities. Another thing I would like to say is just become financial literate and understand what your budget is. So you have to make really good and smart decisions. I know sometimes those new pair of shoes, those new pair of Jordans just come out, but you're deciphering between, okay, I need the school book or do I want to look cool? So be smart on your purchases. Like there's no one there to tell you what to do and what not to do, but you want to be smart and make sure that, again, your overall goal is to make sure that you are leaving with a good quality education. So those new pair of Jordans aren't going to get you a degree, but that book that's required will. So you have to be very mindful of those type of things. You have to make those decisions and be smart about it. Yes, sometimes every once in a while you can splurge, but make sure you have a backup option if you do spend that money, how you're going to fulfill that gap or fulfill that loss that it is that you're looking for, whether it's work study, whether it's you getting a part-time job, maybe it's working or, working around yards or whatever, reaching out to a professor to see if they just need their car clean or something, or, they need their office clean, anything of that matter. Professors are there to make sure you are successful as well. And you just talk to people, communicate with people. That is key, because they are here to make sure you are successful, and there to provide all the resources that they can to make sure you're successful. Plan your meals accordingly and purchase needs versus your wants. So that's just kind of what I was speaking about. Needs are things that are necessary. Wants are things that you just want. You don't necessarily have to have them, but you just want them, maybe because your friend has it, or maybe because it's one of the most popular things that are going on campus as well. So just, really decipher between what is a need and what is a want, but also still have a little bit of room, like a little bit of playroom. And all college students, you're not rich. We all know that. You're not going to be making six figures in college, but it is a way that you can strategize. So you can save as much as you can, but also be very smart with your different purchases that it is that you have. Find work study positions, assistantships, or part-time job. So there are several different on-campus work study opportunities, assistantships, and even on-campus jobs that you can always apply for. Sometimes it will be minimum wage. Sometimes you might get lucky and find a job that pays $15 an hour. But before you do accept a work study position or on-campus job, ensure that you have designated enough time to add on that additional experience or that additional dedication, because it can become overwhelming. But also keep in mind, prioritize your education over everything else. Education is priority. Everything else after that is secondary. So remember that. Open a bank account in your a savings account, and you can also research student credit cards. Now be careful with those credit cards, because you don't want to get yourself in a bind. So if you are opening a credit card at the local bank near that college, make sure it's not a large amount, or make sure you're being very smart with your purchases. So be very responsible with those credit card purchases, and ensure that you have a system so that you're not messing up your credit whenever you get in that real world. And then I wanted to just talk a little bit about the types of student financial aid. So you have your gift aid, your student employment, and student loans. So gift aid is typically free money, so you don't have to pay that back. So that can vary between grants and scholarship, merit-based scholarship, community service scholarship, legacy scholarship, or athletic scholarships. So these are things, again, that you can always ask the financial aid department if there are any additional scholarship opportunities. If you are a collegiate athlete, you can always go to your coach to see if there's any additional scholarship that they're able to give you. Before you do that, make sure your statistics are up to par, and that you are doing everything that is that you're doing in the classroom, because a lot of times athletic scholarship, also you have to have a certain GPA too. And majority of these, like community service scholarships or merit-based scholarship, legacy scholarships, you have to also have really good grades too in order to even qualify for some of those free scholarships. And also ask the alum too, get network, join a networking club with the alumnus, and just alums of that university, because alums are always looking to endow, sponsor different students who are showing excellence within the classroom and outside the classroom. Student employment. So we talked a little bit about this. So again, just a reminder, there are part-time work study positions, assistantships. Some of these jobs will allow students to earn as you learn. Internship, fellowships, job shadow. There's different research opportunities. So for example, if you're going to, if you're in a school of North Carolina and etc., there's a large conference that always takes place every single year in Raleigh, North Carolina. So if you're working on a research project, you can always present that to that conference. And then if you win, you can get your article or your research project published, but you also get like a scholarship as well that can go towards your tuition and your costs. So those are just little things that you need to research as you're on campus. Ask your professors, ask the financial aid department, ask your admissions counselors as well. Ask your freshman seminar, ask your academic advisor as far as those different opportunities that may come about. And then student loans. So student loans is money that has to be repaid over several years, usually with interest, but typically it is a little bit lower interest. So examples of those are things such as subsidized loan, unsubsidized loan, educational bank loans, or even personal loans that you can take out or have a co-signer take out for you. But you just be mindful as you're taking those student loans out, because typically you do have to repay that. But one thing I do want to talk about is just the public loan service forgiveness. Now, it's valid right now, but however, this is a government assistance, and if you work in like a private sector after you graduate college for at least 10 years, you pay just a little bit, 120 payments consistently, and then after 10 years you get those loans forgiven. So there are different programs out there like upon graduation, or sometimes your jobs that you receive afterwards do have different programs like that as well that will help cover or repay back those student loans rather than you having to pay back everything yourself. And then one last thing pretty much is just get involved. So whether that is clubs, your student or SGA, joining a dance team, internships, community service, joining a band or choir, finding a local job, working on projects with your professors, tutoring or gaining a tutor, joining a Greek life for a fraternity or sorority, joining athletic clubs, showing your school spirit to becoming the school mascot, taking advantage of research opportunities, library assistant, exploring research projects and presentations, joining the international club, joining a club just in general, study abroad or drama club or arts and etc. So getting involved is only going to help you develop your character. I love when students get involved because this is how you get that leadership. This is how you're putting your name out there into the community. This is how you are finding a like-minded of people to make a difference in the world. So get involved, but be mindful as far as how much you get involved to make sure you're still successful and you're completing everything that it is education-wise. Because again, education is priority. Everything after that is secondary. And just to leave you with, so just a few important things to remember is to do your research ahead of time, whether that is scholarships, joining a club, finding the right professor, finding a professor that you really enjoy with and works best for your teaching style, developing productive study habits, talking with your guidance counselor and your admissions counselors, or even your freshman seminar advisors, opening a bank account, taking advantage to study webinars and tutoring sessions. And I also want to say, use a planner. A planner is going to help you stay organized. It's going to help you figure out what it is that you need to get done, when you need to get done, and when things are due. Get a tutor or become a tutor. If you feel like you are falling behind in your grades or you're not understanding something, don't be shameful. Get that tutor so you can make sure you're passing your grades. I'd rather someone have a tutor than failing your grades, because then you're going to have to retake that test, and that's just throwing money down the drain. So take advantage of those tutors, and typically it is free of charge. It's a part of your tuition. So take advantage of that. Or on the opposite side, if you are someone who knows the subject really well or do really well in that classroom or in that different subject, especially sciences and math, become a tutor to help your peers, to help others be successful as a college student as well. So it'll be very appreciative, but also you can get paid for being a tutor for somebody. Apply for graduate schools early, take those standardized tests such as the GRE, praxis, the law exam that you have to take. So take those things early, do practice exams as well, so that by the time you do graduate, or by the time that junior, senior year comes about and it's about time to graduate, you are prepared and you're ready to go. Apply for scholarships, and apply for even more scholarships. Even if you think you do not qualify for a scholarship, apply for it, because there are scholarships for returning students. So make sure you're applying for everything that comes across your page. Pay attention to those emails as well. If you need to, hire an educational consultant or a financial advisor. Join Junior Achievements, reach out to Erica, reach out to those resources that it is that you have available and you have handy to help continue to help you be successful. Find your teaching style, so your learning style. So are you a visual learner? Are you a audio learner? Or do you like to read and write something on paper? Or do you have to physically touch something? So take those personality tests, take those learning styles so you can help yourself succeed. And then explore different social media pages and interest clubs and organizations so you can join your class and get to know your peers and etc. Get creative and also talk with your counselor. Your counselor is there to make sure that you are tuned in, that you are there emotionally, physically, psychologically. They want to make sure you are there and you are 100%. So it's not going to be affecting your mental and who you are as a person and your education. So those are just some little tidbits and tips to remember as you are going through your college journey. And then these are just some, utilizing your resources. So, we do have the IC organization, we have JI Bahamas, we have Scholarship Bahamas, Legacy College Readiness, Common App. And then there is a 16 personality test, which is one of the personality tests there. And then the education planner is just a test where you can test how you learn. So I just wanted to add those in there, take a screenshot of those. And, again, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to fill out those personality tests and those learning style tests, but it will help you understand how you are as a person and how you learn. And again, find your best fit. Sometimes you get to a college and you realize it's not for you. It's not the college that you thought it was. It's okay to transfer. It is, but make sure that you have a plan before you make that decision. And it's something that you want. It's not because you're being peer pressure to do so, but it's because of something you want. So just make sure that you are investing in your future, because you have to invest wisely, because your future matters. You are the next generation of our future. So make sure you are utilizing that and you're taking advantage of all those resources and opportunities around you, and just know that you do have a supportive system there for you. So ask those questions. Don't be afraid to communicate, speak up, and I want to see everyone be successful and become that leader of your generation. So that is all I have for you. So again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Junior Achievements, Legacy, Readiness Tours, for inviting me. And I'm open to questions. I don't know how you'll do that, but I'm going to turn it back over to you all.
Thank you so much, Kristen. I mean, that was absolutely amazing.
Yes.
I'm not.
We have to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm not in college, but I feel I have a son that actually has traveled very recently. So he's in a different time zone. So I'm definitely going to be sending him this webinar, because there was just so much stuff there, and not things that typically I would think of as a parent. I am going to ask everyone, if you do have a question, if you want to put it into the chat. Some of you have private messaged me. I have put those into public chat, and I will ask them to Kristen now. But if you do have a question after these ones are read and your question wasn't answered, please raise your virtual hand, or you may unmute if nobody is speaking. So,
okay. Before they start answering some questions, there were some things that Christian said that I wanted to piggyback off of and just give some clarification to. Okay.
Okay, Erica, go ahead.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Number one, when she says, visiting the colleges, I know she said something about that, knowing what type of college it is. That is why we offer a lot of the college bound trips, to give kids an opportunity to see what it's like to be on a campus. If you are a junior achiever, we have a trip that's going to Georgia. We'll be going to Georgia State, Lipscomb University, MTSU, and SCAD. And that's between April 8th through the 15th. We're going to have 4 tours going on simultaneously. Okay. What I like about this trip, and I'm really excited about this one, is we're going to have an opportunity. MTSU is like, we are going to give you guys the college experience. Unfortunately, this year we wouldn't be able to sleep on the campus because they had so many kids that had applied. They over applied, for those kids staying on campus. And it was like, this has never happened before. So we're going to stay in a hotel not too far, but they're going to, everything that the time that we're in Nashville, I'm sorry, in Tennessee, after we visit Lipscomb, we're going to come back there, and we're just going to spend the rest of the day there. We're going to have dinner at the president's house, and he is Bahamian. So the president knows that a group of kids from Junior Achievement will be there, and we're going to have dinner at his house. Okay. And we have a lot of activities planned for you on that trip. So that's one of the reasons why I like to encourage students to participate in the college-bound trips, because you get an opportunity to see campus life. I'm a person, I could never go to school at Georgia State. Why? It's a good school, but it's incorporated in the city of Atlanta. And I'm more of like a campus type person. You know what I mean? So that's for me. I like a campus. And I don't know if I want to go to a school in a big city. I kind of like that off the beaten path type school. So, that's when I'm helping you. If you decide to take my services, this is what we're going to explore. I agree. You definitely do those personality tests. Then we do the assessment, the career assessment. I have done assessment for kids, and the parents are like, oh, they want to be a doctor, or they want to be an engineer. After they do the assessment, I'm like, she wants to do something in art. She's more artistic. And then there's a conversation that needs to be had, because, parents have one idea, you have another idea, and it's good for all of us to be on the same page. Okay. So the other thing, I noticed that Christian was talking to you guys about financial aid, applying for loans and this, that. You will not be able to apply for financial aid in the US as an international student. You won't. Now, some schools allow them, very few schools, but it's still a little something different. You will not be able to access federal aid. In December, for those of you that are in the 12th grade, or if you've graduated already and you are thinking about going back to school, the government grant opens in December, okay? I think around the 1st of December, where you can apply, and the minimum amount that the government will give you is $7,500. And I think that's a good chunk. All of the schools that we're going to visit in April are a partnership with the Bahamas government, except for SCAD, okay? And what does that mean? That means that they have pretty much a partnership with the school, and if you meet the requirements, the school will give you a scholarship, and you will be able to get a scholarship from the government grant. Your chances have increased if the school is in partnership with the government. JA does not give scholarships. Now, if you are the, let's say the MDA or whatever, yes, they'll help you out like that, okay? Other than that, they do not give scholarships. However, we are in partnership with schools that give scholarships to JA students specifically, okay? That's the other thing. And then like with credit cards and whatnot, I know a lot of you guys got excited because I got my first credit card when I was 19 years old, and I burned that card up. Let me tell you, okay? And every time you purchase something, you pay it off, they increase your limit until you're unable to pay it off. And I'm gonna tell you what my father told me. Credit cards can be like cancer. Get one little spot or one infection and you don't take care of it, it spreads and eventually it will kill you. financially, okay? But because you guys are not US citizens and you don't have social security cards, numbers, you may not be able to get one. So we're not gonna worry about that, okay? So those were some of the things I wanted to let you know. Listening to what Christian said, one, you will not be able to access federal aid, US federal aid as an international student. As an international student, you are required to do 12 credits at a time, okay? You drop below that, you will be out of status, and that's not a good thing, okay? Like I said, I have 4 college-bound trips that's going on simultaneously, but are in different places, okay? For my business majors, if you're interested in business, of course, you can do either one of, any of the trips. However, the business school that I have in France, it has the highest accreditation that any business school can get, okay? And it's good to have like that international experience if that is something that you're interested in. So we will all be offering that for those students, and it's strictly business, okay? At that school, it's called CFAM. And for those students that are interested in the medical field, we have St. George's University in Grenada. It is an American medical school in Grenada. What do I mean? 65% of the students that attend that institution are US born students. And because you are from the Caribbean, because they're trying to attract more Caribbean students, there is 65% of all of the students that are there are US citizens. As a student coming from this region, from the Caribbean region, you automatically get 65% off, okay? And we'll do something different about that as far as the medical school is concerned. Just letting you know, as a international student, the chances of you getting into a medical school is less than 1%. Most of our doctors come back to the Bahamas, or they come back to, or they go to UWI, okay? And then, so you have St. George's for my medical students and veterinarian students. But if you're interested in like the arts or sciences or whatever, we do have some of those classes there as well, okay? The business school, they are in France. And you don't necessarily have to go there, but if you, like I said, if you want that international experience and you want something new, definitely. And I'm gonna say this, don't tell nobody I told y'all, okay? This is our secret. Going to that school is actually cheaper than going to a school in the US. Let me tell you why. The tuition for the first year is $8,000. If you get $7,500 from the government for the year, what does that leave you with to pay with your tuition? In Europe, they don't have traditional housing like we have in the US, where you can have a campus where you have housing. Not in Europe. You would probably live like right in the area. At CFAM, the housing is across the street. It's between $400 to $500 a month. And it's normally like $8. But the government of France actually gives college students a stipend back for their rent. So you'll be paying about $400 to $500 a month, okay? So that's what that's about. For my JA students, like I said, we'll be going to SCAD, Lipscomb, Georgia State, and MTSU. The last 3 schools are partners with the Bahamas government, okay? So that means if you choose to go to either one of those schools, your chances of getting the government grant has increased. Also, the school in France, because it's so inexpensive, anybody that applies there are guaranteed, and this is as per the Ministry of Education Scholarship Division, you're guaranteed the $7,500. And like I said, we have trips going on for that. And for my visual art students, if you look on the Bahamas scholarship and website, and you go to the part that says priority areas for the Bahamas government, visual arts is one of those. Okay, so, and I'm working with something to where they're able to give my kids additional funding to go to attend SCAD. SCAD is a bit pricey. Okay, and I will also be hosting a trip just for students who are interested in the visual arts. The same dates, the 8th through the 15th, and you'll be going to both of the SCAD campuses in Atlanta and Savannah. Okay, now, if you are a JA student, because tonight I just felt like I wanted to get Ms. Isley on this call so she can tell you what to expect, what you need to do to help to hold the retention while you are in college. Okay, we are having a parent night, I think in October. I think it's October. October the 29th, I believe it is. And I will explain everything to you. We'll go over all of the schools that we have partnerships with and what our special concessions are with those schools. Okay. And again, this time, so if you think you're interested in any of those trips, start saving your monies. Okay. And so you could make down payments. You'll be able to pay on all of them. Okay. So that's my spiel. So
Thank
now
you
you can
so
ask
much,
questions.
Erica. So what we'll do is we'll try to get, we have about 10 minutes left. We'll try to get to as many questions as possible. So
I'm
I'm
sorry.
no,
Okay.
no worries, Erica.
Okay.
So you all excuse Gizmo in the background. He gets very excited about this time of night. So how do I determine if I should drop a class? Kristen, I think that is for you.
Yes, absolutely. So what I would suggest, if you know that you have, let's say, haven't did too well on exams or fallen behind of assignments, and you have talked to your professor and they tell you the grade, like the highest grade you can get is a failing grade. So you, for one, you have to be considerate of the withdrawal period, because there is a certain time that you can withdraw from a class in your college, and you have to ask like either registrar's office and work with your academic advisor, because also if you withdraw that class, it could affect your GPA. So if you withdraw it, you may get an F for withdrawing that. And like there's a certain amount of classes that you can withdraw over the course of your 4 years in college. So like if you have talked to your professor and you know that like one, you're falling behind of this course and like there's no way for you to even get a passing grade, more than likely you probably need to withdraw from that class, or you need to drop that class. Also, if you are in a class that does not even align with your major and it's not even going to help in any type of way, it's just an extra class, you probably need to withdraw that class as well. So that's why it's very important to meet with your academic advisor. I like to say at least every 2 weeks, but at least if you can meet with them once a month, they can at least make sure that you're staying on track and taking those courses that it is that you need to, so that you're not just taking courses just to be taking those and just wasting money. But yeah, so that is what I would say. One, if you talk to your professor, your academic advisor, and there's no way that you're going to get a passing grade, withdraw. Or if it's a class that you know that is not going to even align with your major and it's just a class just to be taking it, then you probably also need to withdraw that as well.
Thank you so much. And our next question is, and I think you kind of answered this by saying education as a priority. Should I get a job my first semester, or should I just focus on classes?
I would say, honestly, to really focus on your classes and figure out how much additional time do you have, because you don't want to put too much on your plate for your freshman year, because that is, I would say your freshman year is typically your hardest year, because like one, you're trying to get acclimated to a new culture, a new environment, but you're also trying to figure out like how to prioritize and also develop those time management skills if that's not one of your strengths. So I would say first, make sure your education is first. Education is first, that's priority. Everything after that is secondary. And that's with sports, that's with an extra job, that's with extra activities and etc. Because at the end of the day, you are going to school and you're paying for education. You're not going to school for like extra activities and etc. That's a plus. That's a privilege, but your education should always come first.
Thank you. And this is an interesting question. Will lecturers give us extensions on assignments? How much do they give per semester?
I would say this from my college experience, more than likely, think of it like this. Professors are not going to give you any type of extra time. They're not going to give you any type of extension because they have a syllabi that they give you the beginning of the semester with all of the deadlines, the assignments, the due dates, the projects, the papers, the meeting times, and etc. So you want to make sure, keep that in the back of your head, that you need to follow that syllabi to a T and expect that professors are not going to be lenient or have any leeway. Now, however, I can't necessarily say every professor is like that, but you may have some professors that do offer extra credit and etc. throughout the semester. But just keep in mind that professors' mindsets are, they have that syllabi, they gave that to you in the beginning of the semester, so they expect you to abide by that policy, and you also sign that contract. So you're signing that contract in the beginning of the semester to say, yes, I have read this contract. Yes, I have read the syllabi and I abide by those rules. So once you sign that paper, that says that, okay, you understand what's going on. You are expected to make sure you're turning in, coming to class on time, turning in every assignment and etc. So make sure that is the mindset that you have, is that they're not going to give you any extra time. Like, this isn't high school anymore. They're going to treat you like an adult. You're an adult, you're a responsible adult. So make sure that you have that in the back of your head. But I would say, with all that being said, make sure you develop really good relationships with your professors.
Thank you, Kristen. And then we have, what is the best way to deal with a roommate that keeps late hours?
Yeah, that is also another thing too, is that, that's why it's very important, like whenever you first filled out your housing contract, is to make sure you're as honest as possible, because they do try to pair you with somebody who has similar minds. But if you do come across, a roommate that's, it's not necessarily someone that you're clicking with or you're running into problems with, make sure the first person that you, well, one, be a woman, be a man about it, and go to them and be like, hey, these are the issues, communicate, talk with them about it, and see if you all can figure something out between one another, even if it's just compromising. So for example, if you like to study in your room, but they're like a loud, distracting and etc., be like, hey, well, I plan to be in my room studying at this amount of time. Is there any way that you can give me this private time so that I can study that? And then afterwards, you do what you want. So try to go to your roommate first, because at the end of the day, you are coming back to that room every single night. And of course, you're also paying for it. So like, you're adults, this is a way to, strategic problem solving is very important. And you want to be responsible and as mature as you can about that relationship. Second, if that doesn't work, go to your RA. That's what the resident assistants and resident directors are for. You can always tell them about a problem so that they can figure out a situation, and they may be able to accommodate and find you a new roommate or a new room so that you are not dealing with that problem anymore.
Thank you so much, Kristen. This one may be for Erica. Do you have any scholarship resources? Where can I find scholarships?
This is a question that I get every year. A lot of the scholarships are linked or tied to either your major or a school. There is not a pool. The only things that I know of in Nassau that we have, or in the Bahamas that we have, of course, the government grant. Oh gosh, the Life the Key Foundation, and other little companies may give scholarships, but of course, like KPMG, they will do it for a student that's interested in finance or accounting. However, they would only give it for their junior and senior year. Okay, it's very few international or companies that just say, okay, I'm just going to give you money to go to school, unlike the government grant. But something like Christian said earlier, when you get to the school, sometimes they will give you merit scholarships. when you get to the school, you would have to ask them in your college, what type of scholarships do you have? But other than, just looking to garner money, from all of these different places, you really have to do the research. Okay. That's it. Because I know a lot of times we see, oh, you'll hear this student, oh, they garnered $4 million worth of scholarships. Yeah, because they applied to a lot of schools, X, Y, and Z. That's one of the reasons, So, yeah. So unfortunately, that's how it works.
Thank you so much, Erica. All right, this is, if you are a US citizen, can you still join the JA program? I do believe that once you are a student in the Bahamas, you can join JA. I will give the next part of that question to Erica, and still be eligible for scholarships from the program.
Okay. You make my life easier, my US students. And you transitioning to school would be a whole lot easier. However, if there is a scholarship that a junior achievement student can get, and the school is giving you scholarships, they're going to make, some schools will say, well, we don't care, we'll give them both. Then you also have some schools that say they have to pick one or the other. Okay? So I guess I could say this. If you are a US citizen and you have a Bahamian passport as well, you're able to get money from the government in the Bahamas. And you can also apply for federal aid. And it's not necessarily a loan all the time. You can get grants, okay? But if it's a specific junior achievement scholarship, like what's the school, MTSU? I don't know. They will not allow you to have the scholarship that they're giving you and the JA scholarship as a JA student. Okay? No. I'm sorry. They changed that. They'll give you the merit scholarship and they will give you the JA scholarship. I think when you apply, well, you can still apply for government grant. I'm just trying to think of one of my schools that's going to make you choose either or. It'll come to me, but some of them will make you choose either or. And then you have some who doesn't care, they'll still give it to you.
Thanks, Erica. Sorry.
Can I just add on that too? Just Eric, just to piggyback off of Erica, typically the schools that's going to make you choose either or are going to be public schools. Private schools are typically a little bit more flexible with that. But again, it's based upon every single school though.
Right.
Okay, guys, we are wrapping up, but I really want to get all of these questions in here. So when is the best time to apply to colleges?
Do you want to answer that, Christian, or you want me to?
Yeah, either. Well, we can both answer it if you want to, Erica.
Right. Because I think the minute you are on your way to the 12th grade and that window just sometimes before school starts, because to me in the 12th grade, you shouldn't be looking for colleges. You should have already kind of decided what school you want to go to. And the minute that portal opens up to the schools that you're interested in, if it's August 1st, before you get the first day in the 12th grade, you should be applying.
Absolutely.
But then I have a lot of students who don't apply until January. And then they come to me, oh, Ms. Mars, what can I do? I help you. The price just goes up because now it's rush. And then I have to call my schools and beg, say, can you please do this for this student? Okay. So, but go ahead, you could give them an answer.
Yes, I certainly agree with Erica. Like, honestly, like you should already have like at least like your top 3 to 5 schools going into your senior year. Because typically through Common App is a very known application portal where there's over 1,000 different schools that's using that. And that typically opens up August 1st of your freshman year. So you typically can't apply until you're going into your senior year. So once you have completed your year 12 or your year 11. But however, I always say apply as early as possible. You need to pay attention to the deadlines and the types of the decisions as well, because action means that you're binding. That means that you have to commit and etc. So pay attention to what it is that you're applying for and the different schools that you're applying for, so that you are not committing to something and you don't realize you're committing that and you can't choose a different school. So always keep those open, but however, have a plan by your senior year. I always say have a plan by your 11th grade year, because I think it's too late to start applying by your 11th grade year. I think you should start thinking about college as soon as you get into high school, because your grades affect it, your different activities, your extracurricular activities, that's everything that they're looking for. So you want to start those positive habits like as soon as you get into that high school, coming in from your middle school to your 9th grade year, because at the end of the day, they are looking at all of that holistical.
Right. And I just want to add this, and this is why Legacy College Readiness and Tours, we're starting college readiness workshops from the 7th grade. We start too late in the Bahamas preparing for college. A lot of our students are not preparing until the 12th grade. Unfortunately, you know,
Like
a lot of our kids
have for parents, Erica.
Go ahead.
It sounds like I'll be bringing you back for a webinar for parents, perhaps.
Definitely, you need to bring us. Oh, yeah, I need to speak to the parents.
Okay.
I do.
I am making.
Yes. Okay.
We do actually have a parent here and an advisor from JA, and they would like to know do any of the schools in your network offer forensic science?
A lot of the schools, now which ones, I'm not sure, because a lot of the schools, they all offer at least over, most of them, except for CFAM, they offer over like 60 and 70 degrees. You would just have to look, and we're gonna update that, parents, to let you know what schools that are in our network right now. So we're gonna update that, and hopefully by then we would have the network. But we do, and we're just gonna have to do some research and see which ones, and you know, all of the other factors. Okay.
Thank you, Erica. Also, this is more of a comment. I have found that sourcing international scholarships for Bahamian students seems to be a bit harder for freshman students. I don't know if you want to speak to that, Erica.
Well, just like what I said before, because a lot of there are tons of scholarships out there, but you really have to do the research. You have some scholarships that's out there. I've seen a scholarship, I promise you. They would give a student $5,000 if they wore duct tape, you know, the brand duct tape. They had to make a dress or a suit for their prom and wear it, take pictures, and they will give that to you. I have seen scholarships for women that are African American that was 5'2" and that was interested in nursing. There's scholarships out there, but you have to do the research to get those scholarships. And like I said, a lot of them are either tied to the school specifically, or it has to be some sort of, like I said, like I use KPMG, what KPMG does, okay? Christian, did you want to add anything with that?
Yeah, definitely. I would say there are so many scholarships out there. And I, again, like being an undergraduate student, like I learned a lot about the scholarship as I was coming in, like returning schools, because financial aid would literally be like, oh yeah, so if you're a woman, if you're female and you have above a 3.0 GPA, $1,000. So I was like, oh yeah, that's me. I would go ahead and apply for it. And there it is. So, you know, one, I would always say is just pay attention to your emails, because there are going to be scholarship opportunities that do come out within your school that you'll be notified for, and just pay attention to those deadlines. There is this app, it's called, I know it's been changed a little bit. You might have to pay like for a subscription, but it's called Scholly, and it's SCHOLLY. It's an app that will give you millions of different scholarships, and you just pretty much base it upon your characteristic, who you are, your major, and who, you're female, and etc. And they'll give you a list of different scholarships that are available and eligible as well. But also talk to your professors. Talk to your professors, because they're always looking for students to work on a project. They may have like a book that they're trying to do, or like some type of research project, and you can get some type of stipend, etc. But this stuff isn't going to be just right there in the eye of, you're going to have to do some research. You're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to find that, because people aren't going to give that information to you. But there is scholarship out there. Join an alum organization, find different alums who've recently graduated, and they're looking for students who are excelling in the classroom, and they're wanting to endow and sponsor them as well. There's so many different opportunities. It's just a matter of taking the time to put your information out there, but ask questions.
Thank you so much, ladies. I mean, this has been such informative session. I am sure that all of the students, all of the parents, alum, achievers have thoroughly enjoyed this. If I were going to college, I would be replaying the tape that will be sent to you next week to make sure that I heard every single thing that was given, because all of it seems like just nuggets of information that are going to A, get you more money for school, and B, help you to stay in school and prosper and be successful. Erica, thank you so much for partnering with
I'll
us.
be back home on Monday. Yes. I'm sorry.
No problem. We'll be very excited to see you.
Yes.
I really do appreciate you introducing us to Kristen, just a wealth of information. Your information about scholarships, Erica. I mean, guys, please go into the chat, get the links, go to Legacy College Readiness. The website is in there. I will also be sending links when we send out the recording as well. Utilize the tools that you've been given today. That is the only advice that I can say to you guys. But this was a very informative and just an awesome session. Thank you so much. We did run a little bit over time, but it was so worth it. And like I said, you can respond to that email with any questions you have as well when I send it out, and then I will farm it out to the appropriate parties. So ladies, I have to have you back. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And everyone, have a wonderful evening.
Bye.
Bye.
Christian, can you give me a call, please?
Of course, I got you. It's so good seeing you too. All right, bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Okay. All righty.